Did you know that you can rewire your brain to think, speak, and act as the best version of yourself? It's that version that first got your wife to fall deeply in love with you. That man that's still hidden underneath and still shows at times. But what if I told you there was a way to access that part of you 24/7 around her? What do you think would happen if you were never around her, right? Or there was never panic. There was just this calm certainty about you and her. Well, in this video, I will show you how to save your marriage using your subconscious mind, by using your mind to dictate actions that will make you a magnet of masculinity that attracts your wife back to you. Now, there are 5 mental principles in achieving this. And the last one will get you out of your head around her and really into hers, okay? So you can know exactly what to say to her in every conversation to penetrate her heart with your love. So let's jump in. There's this beautiful saying: watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. And watch your habits, for they become your character. And then watch your character, because it does become your destiny. This quote cautions you from thinking negatively, and it emphasizes the power of thoughts in shaping actions, which is what we're tapping into right now with these lessons, okay? So applying these mental principles in this video will, 1, reduce your overthinking and panic so you can live carefree around her. It will strengthen your emotional stability, which can lead to real intimacy, that deep intimacy you're yearning for. It'll reduce your insecurity and build respect and self-esteem within yourself and in her eyes. And you'll gain freedom of mind and discover the mindset shifts that hundreds of men in our programs have used to spark attraction and get their wives changing their mind about this situation of the marriage, to be quite honest with you. Now, it all starts with this first mental principle. Discovering this now will save you lots of time and frustration. A client once shared with me that when he was younger, his mother would always told him not to drive in a snowstorm, right? He grew up in Canada, okay? So snowstorms all the time. She said, honey, make sure you're safe. He's like, yeah, I got it, mom. Gotta love moms. But he would react defensively and say, Mom, I've been driving for years now. I know how to be safe. I'm not a child. And she would say in response, it's not you that I'm worried about. It's the other people on the road. Now, the client's mom, aside from just being a caring mom, which she's supposed to do, it makes a powerful point, right? She does, which is we can only control our side of things, not what others are doing. And this is a huge mental shift you need to make in how you view your marriage. What I'm talking about here is called intrinsic stability, right? Inner stability, okay? Focus on what you can control, which is your 50% of the marriage, and let go what you can't control from her. Think of just being behind that wheel, right? You can control your speed, the route you take, and how safely you drive. However, you can't control the traffic lights, the behavior of the other drivers, the road conditions, or your wife telling you how to drive from the passenger seat, right? We've all been there. By focusing on your driving and making smart decisions, you ensure a safer and smoother journey. Now, stressing over traffic jams or reckless drivers really only adds frustration. But because of that, with all those things out of your control, it doesn't mean you should quit driving. No, of course not. But keep your attention on your driving and let the traffic flow as it will. So similarly, with your relationship with her, once you adopt a mindset of intrinsic stability, knowing what you can control and what you can't every situation with her, letting go of all the things that you're trying to change in her, it allows you to feel empowered in yourself, build self-esteem, right? This huge burden is lifted off your chest. As an example, many men send the CLC reports to their wives, right? And it's called the closed loop change report for a reason, because don't expect anything in return, okay? Even, look, her reading it is a win, but so many of these guys, like, they'll subtly just put this little thing in there like, okay, let me know what you think about this, or can't wait to talk about this later. And that is just trying to control her response. And they get defeated when she doesn't respond the way they want. But the guys that are able to put all the control within themselves start building up that self-worth, right? But if a guy focuses on his wife's emotions and bases the way he feels on her reactions, she will start to view you as weak, needy, manipulating her, subversively controlling her. That's what she means when she says that, okay? Because she can sense that you were trying to control her reactions, her emotions. So instead, let go of those expectations mentally. It doesn't mean you don't uphold your boundaries when needed. There are plenty of videos on the channel about boundaries. But by adapting intrinsic stability, you'll have a lot more energy to put into these other techniques I'm going to show you. And this next one is a mindset that you can automatically, it just sets you up for success. More than anything, it is the behavior that shows you are an apex male. If you know about that concept, it is on this channel, okay? The man that wants his wife but doesn't need her, who lives toward himself in unreactivity, right? The guy that you have been at so many times in your life, all right? And it all stems from the way you communicate to her. And I love this because it's a cognitive reframe that you can really just tell yourself over and over again, even out loud if you want to, that just really has it stick. And that's what change is, right? Just changing your inner narrative from that quote we talked about. Now, the principle is called perceptual bridging. Imagine it as a mental bridge that you and your wife connect with on each other's perspective, okay? Your perspective is on each side of the bridge. Now, you build this bridge not with steel, but with beams of curiosity. Now, instead of reacting emotionally, you approach the conversation as someone who is genuinely curious. You have to take yourself out of the equation, okay? But by doing this, you are extending a metaphorical and emotional pathway to connect you to her. Now, the other day, a client told me that his wife said, "I can't do this anymore." Now, most men, when they hear words like that, they will automatically assume that it just seems obvious that she means that we're done, let's break up, we're getting a divorce, it's over, okay? That seems obvious. However, what if she didn't mean that? See, the client was able to suspend judgment and instead connect the bridge by asking questions like, "What do you mean by that?" Or "How long have you felt that way?" Or "What do you need right now to feel okay?" You see, these types of questions, the curiosity beams, they build a bridge of understanding between him and his wife, instead of operating from false fear assumptions that only perpetuate the biggest concern, okay? This way, you're coming at it from a different perspective, and therefore, you're able to respond in new ways that you wouldn't do before. So practice asking those internal questions to yourself so they're front and center in your memory when you still need them. This will help to diffuse the reactive ticking time bomb inside of your head that creates self-sabotage, okay? Now, in the movie Dead Poet Society, there is this memorable scene when Mr. Keating, played by Robin Williams, rest in peace, one of my favorite actors, he asks the students to stand on their desks to see the world from a different perspective. Now, this act in itself, it symbolizes breaking away from conventional viewpoints and encourage the students to really view things in a new light. It perfectly captures the essence of perceptual bridging, as it visually and emotionally demonstrates how shifting one's perspective can lead to new insights and a new, deeper understanding. Now, while we're talking about shifting our perspective, the next mental principle will not only make you happier, it will make you a new person, which will cause her to look at you with a new sense of admiration. But why? Because it will challenge you in ways that you didn't think were even possible. Let's start with this quote. "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." Neil Donald Walsh. Now, the reason I love that quote is because at the heart of any personal growth is getting uncomfortable. Think of a time when you learned something new, right? How to ski, snowboard, or drive a stick shift, or maybe those examples are too far back to remember. Playing golf, right? Maybe it's to start a new business. The point is, you had to get innovative when it comes to the business. It's how to scale with marketing and social media campaigns and partnerships and sales, all this stuff, okay? But the point is, you were challenged. And in that challenge, you were forced to navigate that discomfort and call upon inner qualities of yourself and develop skills that you didn't have before. Now, you might feel like giving up at times, but when you start to see results, it's an amazing feeling. And you're glad that you stuck with it, right? And that's what this concept is going to talk about. I call it innovative drive. Now, try setting your mind to a goal that you think is unachievable, and your brain will invent ways to get it done. As you may have guessed, these changes have nothing to do with your wife, but have everything to do with you becoming a man that attracts your wife. Listen to that back again. Read that, get that point in what I just said. Go back, okay? It all stems right here. Think back when you first started dating her. You had those goals, right? The purposes, the ambition, that drive for whatever you were doing. And she was an exciting addition to everything that you already had going on in your life. A woman joins a man when he's going toward the top, period. Now, this is what initially attracted her to you, okay? You must, Josh says, you have to rediscover that drive in whatever area of your life. The unfortunate irony is that you are literally incapable of tapping into it when you are in a scarcity mindset. You have to go into what's called the winner effect to tap into that drive again. Now, I see this clearly with the guys I work with on the onboarding calls, the initial call when they join the program with our coaches or myself. Now, I reviewed 2 calls yesterday, and both men had extremely Similar situations, but different mindsets. Night and day, different mindsets. Both of them had their wife say verbatim, "I am done." Both of them had their wife moving out. They both had 2 kids and 20 plus years of marriage. A lot of similarities. Now, on part of that onboarding call, we take the clients through what's called the miracle question exercise. And this is where things started to clearly differ between the 2 men. The guy that was in his fear, scarcity mindset, he sat back and he started saying, well, this is what I want from my future with my wife in 90 days, but she's doing this and she's doing that. And the other day she did this. And he immediately went into problem solving mode. Where the other guy, he was able to clearly visualize everything he wanted to the detail of what he wanted to create. That is the winner effect, okay? Now, science actually backs this up. There's an article in Psychology Today called The Science of Accomplishing Your Goals. Now, studies show that our brains are amazing at coming up with solutions when we set ambitious goals. Now, the orbital frontal cortex, a part of the brain that helps you with big challenges and logic and planning things, strategy, right, and your everyday habits, that is part of this process of achieving that goal. But when you're in panic mode, the blood flows away from that part of the brain and you can't access the ability to achieve goals. See, and the one difference between these 2 guys is that the guy who had the winner effect, he saw this as a challenge, as something to overcome, right? He wasn't panicked. I know it's easier said than done, but that is the secret. You see, when you're able to focus on what you want, get out of that panic, scarcity mindset, you are just accessing that part of you that is able to come up with solutions that you never thought before. This is the winner effect. Winners keep on winning in every domain of their life. Now, applying this concept reduces insecurity, it builds self-respect and the self-esteem that we talked about before, equipping you with unshakable confidence and inner strength, all right? Now, I want to give you a practical tool on how to get out of the scarcity mindset and into the winner effect. Right? There's so many things that you can do, right? This is the whole program and helping you reshape everything about your history, about how you view yourself, all that. But I want to give you a tool. The first one is to start meditating daily because you are going to self-sabotage when you keep on living up in here negatively in that scarcity mindset, okay? The second thing is to get help, is to get other pieces of support. When you are isolated around a shameful event, around a traumatic event, historically what happens, even evolutionarily speaking, when you are isolated during trauma, you are defeated. And when you become a defeated man, you show up that way with your wife, and then everything else starts falling apart. Your work, your health, right? You become, and I don't say this in a mean way, but you start to lose. You become a loser, right? I'm not calling you like a loser, but a loser, okay? And to tap into that winner effect, you have to start off by clearing that slate, okay? Start to meditate daily and start to challenge, right? That fear of like, okay, maybe if I had the confidence that I know I can do this, I've seen other guys on this channel, that it is possible, and start to daily write out what you want to see with your wife. I'm just sit down with a pen and a paper. 9 days from now, this is the day I have my wife. All the details, like force yourself to see it and feel it. And I'm telling you, you will tap into something that you didn't even think possible. If you listen to indie rock music in the early 2000s, then you likely heard the song I Love Myself Today by Biff Naked. What a name. Now, it's a catchy song, but what stands out the most are the lyrics in the first half of the chorus and in the first half of the bridge. I'm not going to sing it. You guys can go find it, but I will tell you what the lyrics are, okay? It's I love myself today, not like yesterday. I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm gonna be okay. Okay. I'm looking in the mirror and I like what I see. I've lost the fear and the horror that's been eating at me. Now, one of the first things we teach in our program is to look in the mirror and dive deep. So you can take ownership for your role and where things are currently at. Now, this is similar to the first mindset shift of intrinsic stability, in that you can only control your side of the street. However, the principle here is to look in that mirror with self-valorization, to give you self-love, even if it means saying those song lyrics to yourself out loud. I'm serious, like play it, okay? And just say it over and over. Now, Brené Brown, super famous researcher, professor, TED Talk person, she talks about a lot about vulnerability, shame, and self-worth. Now, her work highlights the importance of embracing vulnerability and practicing what's known as self-compassion. In her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, she provides actionable steps for cultivating self-love and living a wholehearted life. Now, what I want you to do, a little exercise, you're gonna get 1 point for each of these things that you practiced in the last week. And I wanna see how many points you get at the end of this, okay? Number 1, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend or your child, okay? Acknowledge your feelings and struggles without judging them. Numero dos, okay? Embrace vulnerability. Allow yourself to be open and honest about your feelings, fears, and imperfections. You see, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. A lot of men's groups out there will say opposite, but come challenge me on that. Number 3, set boundaries. Learn to say no and protect your time and energy. Boundaries are essential for maintaining your well-being and self-respect. My favorite of the whole entire list, cultivate gratitude. Develop a habit of writing down or reflecting on things that you are grateful for each day. Gratitude shifts your focus on positive aspects of your life. You cannot be stressed out and grateful at the same time. Tony Robbins says that. Number 5, engage in creative activities. Find activities that allow you to express yourself creatively, whether it's writing, drawing, playing music, recording YouTube videos, right? That's my creative outlet. Creativity can be a powerful form of self-expression and relaxation. I did stand-up comedy not too long ago, by the way. That was a really good one for me. And it was also scary, so 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 6, practice mindfulness. Incorporate mindfulness practices such as meditation, deep breathing, just mindful walking, doing the dishes with no distractions, no music, just like focusing, taking a shower, cleaning yourself mindfully, right? Mindfully means like not doing other things, focusing on that one task. Number 7 is to connect with others. Build and nurture relationships with people who support and uplift you. Share your thoughts and experiences with trusted friends or family members, okay? I know you sacrifice a lot of relationships for your marriage and for your family. Number 8, develop a self-care routine. Prioritize activities that promote your physical, emotional, and mental health. Now, this could include just regular exercise. You better be lifting multiple times a week, healthy eating, getting enough sleep, and engaging in hobbies that you enjoy. Numero 9, affirmations and positive self-talk. Use positive affirmations to reinforce your self-worth and confidence. Speak kindly to yourself, okay? Especially during challenging times. How do you talk to yourself? Really think about that one. Now go back to the main quote from the beginning. And the final one, number 10, celebrate your achievements. Take time to acknowledge and celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. Recognize your progress and strengths. Now, if you are under 5 points, then I would argue you are not practicing self-love, not enough. And how dare you? If you're not practicing it, then honestly, how can you say you have self-love? Now, reflecting on these practices help you solidify your self-worth and cultivates a deeper sense of self-love. Now, this foundation is essential because ultimately, self-valorization is not just an exercise, but a way of life that influences every aspect of your relationships, okay? At the end of it all, behind the principles and habits and techniques that I give you on this channel, this right here, self-love, right down there, loving yourself, putting yourself first, knowing your needs, expressing them, being assertive with who you are, expressing your feelings, doing all that. That's it, man. That's the crux of everything. And if you had 10x that, I am telling you the situation you're going through right now would be completely different. You see, even the smartest, hardworking men, they struggle in their marriages because they weren't given the right blueprint, all right, how to meet their wife's core needs. They lacked awareness of how their actions damage the relationship over time. And when you gain that awareness, which is a superpower that we give you in our program, by the way, so if you want to set up a call, click the link down below. You just have that blueprint on how to meet your wife's needs, right? You start to really trigger different feelings inside of her from your new behaviors. And when you reduce that insecurity and you build self-respect through self-valorization, you are well on the way to achieving this final principle. And it alone will give you freedom of mind while at the same time sparking attraction inside of her. Talk about a win-win combo. It's like taking a psychological supplement for your marriage's health. It's pretty cool. In order to explain this final mental principle, I want to share a powerful clip from one of the men in our program who won his wife back. By the way, that's after she told him that they would never, ever get back together. Listen to this.
There was this time where we were both met up at a friend's house and she's hanging out with the other guy, and I went to go grab my daughter and I go pick her up and I could see like this shock that I didn't care that she was hanging out with another guy. And she actually like looked at me as I was driving out of the driveway, waiting for me to like do something. But in all honesty, Josh, I didn't care at that point. Like, okay, that's cool. Like I know who I am. I know my value. And that's fine. Like it's all good.
The principle I'm describing here is affectional detachment. This is that mindset I said about with Apex Male, that you can want your wife, you can desire her, you can let her know that you choose to be with her, but at the same time, you know you're happy without her. And that's it. That is the thing, okay? To know that you'll survive without her, emotionally survive. Or you could tell yourself, I'm going to survive. I know I'll survive. No, you feel that, okay? And once you have that, once you're able to let go of her filling that void inside of you, okay, that you're okay without her, that's what you need, all right? Again, you know what you can do if you need help. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I'll see you in the next one.